Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Elmer and today I'm going to be going through my GW17 draft. But before we start, I'd like to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I'd also like to thank you for the continued support on the channel. It has really been unreal. I did not think I will reach at this point. I thought I would already have given up. But since there's support from you guys, I've been able to continue with the grind, and I hope that next year we'll be able to continue. I also like to thank those guys who are here around the World Cup content. The numbers are really good, but now we're going back to EPL and also UEFA Champions League. And if you're interested in that kind of content, make sure you subscribe, and also if you're enjoying the content, make sure you leave a like. It really helps out the channel. So with the Premier League coming back, which is also very exciting. Also the return of FPL is very exciting to us FPL managers. And so I'm going to show you my draft. So we're going to start off with the defenders here and the goalkeeper. So in goal we're going to be having Kepa and Ward. Ward is just in the team since he's the cheapest playing goalkeeper for Leicester. He was really good at the back end before the season took a break for the World Cup. So I hope that he'll be able to still be good, but I think it's just a cheap enabler for everyone, who I think everyone is going to have him. Then you have Kepa against who's from Chelsea. Kepa is a very good goalkeeper. We saw what he did when Graham Potter put his trust on him. He was able to perform, come up with clean sheets, make very good saves. So I think is a very decent option. And also Chelsea have a double game week coming up, so I think is also a very good option to have in there for we are targeting that double game week. Then to the defenders we have Trippier, 5.9 million. I think he was also very good before the World Cup went for the break, and also the matches he played for England, he looked really good. So I think he's also a very good option. Then you have Cancelo, 7.4 million. You know what Cancelo can offer to the Man City team. He's always really attacking. But I guess if you want someone cheaper from the Man City team who is guaranteed to play, you can look at someone like Walker, who's also a very decent option for 4.8 million and could help free up some funds. That is also something that I'm considering at the moment. But for now, I'm just going to be sticking with Cancelo. Then you have Reece James, who is back in training for Chelsea. He played, I think, 65 minutes in their preseason game. So I think he's going to be ready for the fixture that they have during the Boxing Day. So I think it's also a very decent option to have in there. And also targeting that double game week that they have. Then you have Patterson, who like Ward is just a cheap bench enabler. He was playing every single match before he picked up his injury. So I think it's also a good option for 4.4 million. And there's also the likes of Nico Williams, who's 4.1 million from Nottingham Forest, also a very decent option. And also Bueno from Wolves for 3.9 million, also a very decent option for someone who you might want to pick up just as a cheap enabler. And then we have Benoit, 4.7 million. You can look at the likes of maybe Saliba and Gabriel, who are around 5.1, 5.2 million. The reason I've gone for White is because he's just cheaper and he's playing as a wing back, so sometimes he can give those attacking returns. And I think if Arsenal keep a clean sheet and Beno and Saliba and Gabriel don't do anything significant in the game, they'll still pick up the same points. And considering that he's cheaper, I think he's also a very good player. Then for some other considerations there, you can see Diego Dalot, 4.8 million from United. He was really good before the World Cup, and even during the World Cup, he was also very decent for Portugal. I hope that he can be able to carry on his form throughout until the next year and next season, until the season ends. Then we can move on to the midfielders. We're going to be having Martinelli for 6.8 million. I think he's among the cheapest players in FPL at the moment, who's performing and playing game in, game out. He did not play in the World Cup as much, so I think he's going to be much fit and ready to play for Arsenal. He might also play that centre forward role. since Gabriel Jesus is injured, and I think Martinelli is a very decent option as well. Then you have Foden from Man City. The only problem with Foden is you don't know if he's going to start or he's not going to start. So that's why there's a slight consideration. Maybe I'm looking at someone like Mason Mount who can come and replace him as we target that double game week for Chelsea. This is also a slight consideration, but for now I'm sticking with Foden, and I hope that Pep will be able to start him game in, game out until the end of the season, which I'm sure is going to be very unlikely, but all you can do is hope. Then you have Pereira, cheap bench enabler, 4.6 million, which I think is a very good steal for a player who starts every game, is on set pieces for Fulham. I think is a very decent option. And then we have Salah, 12.8 million. We all know that Salah had a poor performance during the start of the season before the World Cup. So all we can do now is hope that during the break he's been able to watch some of his videos on YouTube and see the things he was doing and be able to come back on form and be able to perform. Then we have Rashford, who I think is going to be a very common player pick. I'm not so sure about United players, which is funny considering that I'm a United fan. I just don't like having United players in my FPL because you don't know what to expect from them during the games. But for now, I'm going for Rashford, who can be easily converted to someone like Almiron, who was really, really good before the World Cup. He was really performing. He was scoring goals for Newcastle for fun. I think like six games, 6 goals. I think he was just brilliant, and I think someone who should be able to consider to bring into the team as well. And then we can move on to the forwards. We are going to be having Odsonne Edouard from Crystal Palace. I've just gone for a cheap player who plays every match for Crystal Palace, and I think Edouard is a very good option. He was scoring goals before the World Cup, and I think he was playing ahead of the likes of Mateta, that striking role. So I think he's a very good option, but I might also downgrade him to someone like Sam Greenwood from Leeds, just to have some extra money to be able to boost other places in the team. For example, like maybe Patterson to someone better. But for now, I'm going to be having Edouard, and maybe might switch him out to be able to boost the team in other places. Then obviously we have Haaland, who's going to be in everyone's team. I think he's almost close to the 100% ownership, and I think he's just brilliant. He was scoring goals for fun before the World Cup. He didn't go to the World Cup, so he must be raring to go and play a match, able to score some goals, and I'm sure he's going to score a hat-trick in his first match. He's just that good that you can't write him off. Then you have Wilson from Newcastle. He was also brilliant before he picked up his injury and then went to the World Cup where I think he scored or assisted, and I think he looked really, really good in that match that he played for England. Although he came off the bench, he still looked really good, and that's what Wilson can offer you. He has the pace, he's little in front of goal, and I think he's a decent option, and he's also on penalties for Newcastle, so I think he's a very decent option to also have in the team. Then for my consideration there, I have Kane, 11.6 million from Spurs. The only problem with Kane is that they play the first fixture of the game week, and no one wants to have a player who plays in that opening fixture. So I think Kane is going to be a very, very big punt, and we don't know how he's feeling after missing the penalty in the World Cup. So you might never know, but so for now, I'm going to be sticking with Edouard, Haaland, and Wilson, and maybe bring in Kane when he picks up form later on in the season. And then to finish off the video, I'm going to show you how the team is going to be lining up. We have Kepa in goal, Trippier, Cancelo, White, James in the defense. Then you have Martinelli, Foden, Salah, and Rashford in the midfield, and Haaland and Wilson up front. Where you can be able to rotate with any of the players, like the likes of Patterson, Edouard, and Pereira. In case one of your players doesn't start, they can be able to come into the team because all of them are guaranteed to play for their respective teams. And yeah, I think that is a very solid team for Game Week 17. So mind you, this is not my final team. I might still make some changes here and there, and I'll post the final results on either Instagram or Twitter. The links are down in the description, so make sure you check them out, and also just leave a follow. It takes a few seconds to follow me on my socials, where you'll be able to find up-to-date news on teams and my lineups, and also what other people are saying in my community. So make sure you check them out. The links are in the description. So with that, I'd like to thank you all guys for watching, and I'll see you all guys later. Bye bye.